Welcome, Brayden Torpy, to Tigers Talk, mate. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. We'll kick off, buddy, with a little bit about your history at the Tigers. Obviously, you came through the juniors, had a pretty successful time coming through there, and then obviously made some adjustments to your career and headed off to greener pastures elsewhere, and then obviously back with the Tigers, mate.
East Junior coming through, mate. Played Cyril Connell for East here in 2011. Had quite a good side that year. We took it out, which was really cool. And then a couple of years later, I played in the Colts grand final with Geordie. Geordie Payne. Took that out. I think that was 2013. Alongside like Billy Walters and all those boys. So we had a fair squad there, and I was lucky enough to play in a Cup grand final in 2018 as well. So had some really good experiences, mate, and it kind of changed growing up. We had that introduction of the Holden Cup, so that was a different pathway for players once they got signed to NRL clubs. So I was lucky enough to go down to Melbourne and spend a year there, and then also on the Gold Coast with the Titans as well. So it was really cool, mate. That I got to obviously play at East growing up, and then got to experience that NRL kind of environment as well. Really good. With two really good clubs.
Mate, did you finish? Were you up in Cairns as well for a little while?
Yeah, I played 2 years at the Northern Pride as well. So that was actually my debut year playing Q Cup up there, and really enjoyed it. Really fantastic part of the world. Far North Queensland. Obviously very warm, but got my first start up there. Joe Callahan was the coach, and he gave me a call when I was playing under 20s, and went up there, mate, and really enjoyed it. It was really good. Played with some really experienced players up there, like Paddy Kafusi and Benny Spina, which were Cup legends. So learned a lot from them, mate.
I'm a Townsville boy, mate, so you don't need to tell me about the heat from Cairns, buddy. I think your brother joined you up there, Cameron, for a little while as well.
Yeah, Cam was up there for one season, mate. He was at the Bulldogs, and there was an opportunity for us to play together, so we went up to Cairns, and it was really good playing with Cam. Unfortunately, we had a few injuries that year, so we only played a couple of games together, but we were with each other every day, working together. So no, it was a good year, that one. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Cam's back here as well, isn't he now?
Yeah, Cam's in the squad here, mate. He's he's been toiling away at Karina in the BRL, and hasn't had an opportunity this year. He's been a bit unlucky with injuries as well. Kind of been a bit of a story of his career, unfortunately, but. Yeah, he's here at East as well.
It'll come, mate. It'll eventually get there, and you'll get back into that squad, I'm sure.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Obviously, 18th man last week in the win. What was your observations from the bench, mate?
To be honest, wasn't our best performance. But it was scrappy, and we got away with the win while playing scrappy. So I think they're those games you look back on and go, if we can win scrappy and not playing our best, then it gives you confidence when you are playing well. You can beat anyone on the day. So, fingers crossed the boys can do that this weekend. Put in an 80-minute performance. Like we're going to need to versus Burleigh. We know they got quality everywhere, mate, and some really quality halves, some good Titans players that drop back as well. So, hopefully we can put it all together because, we hung in there last week. Defensively was really good. To only allow 6 points to a Capra side is in a major semi-final is a real positive. Clean a couple of areas in attack, I think.
And that was a kick charge down as well where they went to length, I think, wasn't it? That try they scored?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if they're going to score, you want them to score in those kind of freaky ways.
Shitty plays.
So.
I spoke with Corey earlier, and we're talking about the scrappy game, as you called it, that you played, and that can be a good one to get out of the way, get the combinations back again, get a little bit of rust out from the week off that he was referring to as well. So hopefully that's the bad one out, the worst one out of the way, and you hit the ground running this week.
Yeah, like you said, mate, we had a week off, so we pretty much had 5 days off from training. So I think the last time we had a week off, we played against Wynnum in that final round, and we were a bit scrappy against them as well at Cougar. Got the win again, but like you said, mate, we've had a full week of training this week and last week, so we'll try to put it together on Sunday.
You talked about my son Geordie before, and obviously well known that your father has done a lot down here at the club over recent times. My memory of him goes back, or history with him goes back to the playing days here back in the 90s when he made his way down from Cairns. So how do you find that relationship, mate? Does it annoy you? Does it bug you? Are you happy with it? It goes along pretty smoothly?
I mean, it's cool having Dad, involved with the club. really proud of the work he's done around the club.
Absolutely.
Looking in the building that we're in right now.
Yep.
And you look on the weekend, the crowd that was here, the whole Firehawks bid and stuff like that. Really proud of what Dad's been able to do. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of obviously a bit weird at the same time. You're playing at the same club where your dad's the CEO. So it's kind of like having your dad as your teacher at school, I guess. So it's had its ups and downs, but really proud of the work he's done.
Mate, you're still relatively young in football terms, but retiring at the end of the year. What's the thought process behind that, mate? What are you doing? Or retiring from, I think, senior football at the end of the year. What are you heading to? What are you doing?
Yeah, mate. Like the decision just came around. I was talking to my partner Bianca for a while about it. Just got a little boy now, Luca, who's he keeps us pretty busy on our toes. So I think I just want to be home more around him, giving Bianca a hand. But it was a tough decision, mate. I really love playing footy and I love the club. Been here since I was a young kid, and
awesome.
You never know. You might see me running around the local comp next year. See what happens.
Yeah, okay, really good. Well, hopefully the journey continues for you. You stay injury free. Your family continues to go well as well, and you've been a good servant to the Tigers, mate, from coming through from the juniors. We're very proud and pleased, and I've known the family for quite a long time, obviously, so back from the junior days as well and so forth. So congratulations on a good career.
Thank you, mate.
Hope you get a start this week, fingers crossed, and obviously get the ultimate goal.
Appreciate it, Gavin. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Torps.
Thanks,
Cheers, mate. Here with Corey Thompson, the veteran, if I can call it that, Corey, of the Tigers this year. You've been around and played a little bit, and we'll get on to your playing career in a short while. But, mate, it's your last season. You're in a grand final. Tell us about that this season as such and how you've gone about getting there.
Yeah, it was really good. I retired professionally last year from the Titans, and I think I mentally retired last year.
Yep.
And this year I felt like I've purely been playing with the joy of playing rugby league like I was younger, and all the boys and the staff here have been really welcoming.
Yeah.
There's not too many left from when I was last here, but it was really good to walk back in that first day of pre-season and throw the East training kit back on.
Yeah, but mate, you've come full circle, as you mentioned. Like you started in juniors down at East Mount Gravatt, I think it was, and to do that and come back and give back to the club that you played senior football for as well prior to going to the NRL. And I think that's a commendable thing, and I commend you on that.
Yeah, thank you. That was one thing that I spoke to Churchy about.
Yeah.
Because I met with Luke Burt from Burleigh, obviously because I knew him very well from the Titans.
Yep.
And then Churchy reached out, and pretty much the only thing that separated the two, because I met with both of them, was that the fact that I played here. This club was the first club that sent me to do my first NRL pre-season, and to come back and to show all the young boys that this club, how big it is, and if you work hard, this club can send you places, was probably the only factor that made me jump on board.
So tell us about that journey, mate. Obviously, we mentioned before from the East Juniors down to Sydney in the early 2010s, obviously, to the Bulldogs.
Yep.
So leading up to that, you obviously played in a few games up here in Cup and that as well. So tell us about that journey going through those careers and how you eventually managed to get noticed and down in the big smoke.
Yeah, I think I was at Mount Gravatt, East Mount Gravatt, playing Division 2 when I think it was 15, 16.
Yeah.
Just having fun with my friends. I hated venturing outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then my manager at the time asked, would you like to go play a bit of Div 1 or A grade? And when I was 18, I went to South Acacia Ridge, played fullback there, and we ended up winning the grand final in under 18 Div 1. So that was really good. It was sort of just a little surprise to myself that, hey, I can play with the big boys in Div 1, and ended up playing a couple games for South Logan in the Queensland Cup, and then East reached out.
Yep.
So when I met with all the staff at East and jumped on board, and my first year here, I really enjoyed it. It was myself, Cody Walker. We had a great team. Junior Sow came back. We had really good Storm boys fly back, and I really enjoyed it. Ended up getting best back that year, and Cody got Player of the Year, They flew me down to Melbourne to do my first pre-season with the Storm, and I was there for 8 weeks. I really enjoyed it. I was hoping to sign with them, but they didn't have any room left in their development contracts. So they told me I had to come back here and just play out the year and see what happens. And I was fortunate enough. I only played 2 games and then signed with the Bulldogs and moved away from Brisbane for the next 7 years. Yeah,
mate, that's a wonderful story, and it gives hope to all those junior players that perhaps don't think that they're good enough to be playing in a Brisbane competition or a Queensland competition or even up into the Sydney grades, because you've shown from your experience that you're able to come through those ranks from an under 14 B side to the highest level.
Yeah, I was never made a rep team growing up. My school that I went to, we had a rugby league team, but students went there because it was known for music and foreign languages. But our rugby league team, we had fun, but we weren't beating any one of the big schools.
Mate, did you have the violinist on the wing or what?
Yeah, so I went to a school that was known for music and foreign languages, and I was horrible at both of them. So I don't know what I was doing there.
Parents, mate, they're a bugger, aren't they, when they got practical jokes up their sleeve. Hey, mate, just going back to the current, a good win against CQ last Sunday.
Yeah.
It was an important win, obviously, because it gets you to the grand final. We were talking off camera that's probably the hardest hurdle to overcome, because now you're in the big game.
Yeah, definitely. I think the prelim, myself anyway, I'm more nervous for because everything you worked for is to get to that next stage.
Yep.
If you lose that, the season's a failure.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely more nervous playing that game. And the GF, as big as it is, it's sort of a relief that everything you've worked hard for throughout the year has been achieved.
Yeah.
And then the next step is to win it, but now we can just prepare this week and go out and enjoy the atmosphere, play the way we know how to, and just enjoy being there.
Yeah, and we mentioned about the CQ game again. That was, we were saying off air that was a good one to win. You come in a bit rusty from that week off.
Yeah, we had the bye, which we earned from winning the first round against South Logan, which was really good for us old fellas. It was a long year, so to get a week off was really good. But we definitely were very rusty.
Yeah.
I felt like we marched the Capras down fairly easily and then crumbled when we got inside the 20. We didn't execute our plays very well. We took the wrong options. We kicked it dead a couple of times. And I'm glad we got that out of the way in the prelim, because if we do that against Burleigh, their star-studded backline will destroy us. You
got the bad one out of the way, and now comes the good one, obviously.
Yeah, I hope so.
I watched both of those games, obviously the Tigers game live and the TV for the Burleigh. I'm of the opinion that tough grinding game hopefully will set you in better mettle than better stead than what the Burleigh game was, where although they had to fight hard early, they eventually sort of ran away with it in the finish. So they've had an easier, whether that psychologically affects them and sort of thinks, we're super here, we're gonna clean the Tigers up and go in overconfident. That's what I'm hoping anyway, and in the Tigers. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think Birdie will probably keep them pretty level-headed.
Yeah.
I know him personally, and he would keep them grounded.
Yeah.
I think he knows what type of team we're capable of being.
Yeah.
We have a great east side, and we get really good Storm boys that fly back and compete for us each week. So last time we versed them was a grind. I think it was 20-14 or 20-16 or something like that. And the grand final, I think it won't be a blowout.
Yep.
It'll be a close game, and whoever makes the less errors and whoever capitalises on the field positions will get the job done.
Yeah. Mate, do you have, being a senior member of the side, do you have a bit of a conversation in the dressing sheds prior to the boys going out?
No, I'm pretty quiet, considering being one of the senior players. I try to keep to myself because I joke around a lot. Some of the boys that switch on during games, I'm sure they get fairly annoyed at me because I just walk around the sheds laughing. And that's been me my whole career. It's something that relaxes me. If I overthink it, then I just stress myself out. So I always tell the boys, if you're not ready game day, you're never going to be ready. So there's no point stressing about the game now.
Yeah. Well, Corey, look, thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, we wish you all the best, all the Tiger supporters that'll be there. I'm sure there'll be a fair crowd there as well. We've got the Colts in the grand final as well, which is great. And so they will obviously be there with their support family as well to help cheer you on. I'm hoping that you get a win, mate, because I was the last one to win in the last side that won a comp in 91, and we're looking for some more people to have a beer with and get together in retirement. So all the best for the retirement as well, but let's get one more win, eh?
Definitely. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Welcome back to Tigers Talk. I'm now with Colts coach Mark Gliddon, Gliddo. Grand final coming up. What's the plan for the week? Obviously, half the week's gone already. What are we looking at?
Well, Monday night we did a recovery review and a very light weight session. Anyone that played under a certain amount of minutes had to do extra con. We trained last night. We did a bit of a pose with our leftover groups, the renegades as we call them. Yep. And then we'll do a captain's run Friday night.
Yeah.
So other than that, we won't change too much.
And being superstitious, we talked about this yesterday, same training regime?
Yeah, I haven't changed too much. Look, I don't think it's broken, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel just because it's grand final week. You know, as far as I'm concerned, we just got to get out there and do our jobs, and if we get that right, we get the chockies at the end of the day.
Just going back to the preliminary final, mate, as I call it, a good win against Redcliffe. Obviously a tough opposition. It was a bit nip and tuck for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was. They're a pretty fair side, Redcliffe. A really good fullback in Brendan Byer, and he made us look a bit ordinary actually early in that game. But to the boys' credit, they hung in there. And once we got some footy, we sort of turned it around a little bit. We got a bit of momentum and ended up getting the result, what was really pleasing.
Other than the finals games this year, do you have many players in the squad? I know it's a relatively new squad this year at the beginning of the year that have played in finals footy, senior finals footy?
To be fair, I really don't know. Probably a little bit. Jordan Panquet, a couple other boys, Casey Morgan, Gabriel Reedy Butler, they played in the semi-finals last year. But unfortunately, we went out week one. So so I'm not quite sure if we've got too many guys that have played in grand finals. I haven't really looked into it too much, to be fair.
Mate, it's a unique game. This one, it is the last game of the under 21s Colts competition in this comp. That would have special meaning to be the last premiers of that division.
I suppose it would, but it's not motivating us at all, to be totally honest. It hasn't even really been mentioned. Yeah. Bar probably through the media a couple of times. Sure. But that's not our motivation. Our motivation is we want to win the comp because we worked bloody hard to get here, and we don't want to let an opportunity go by.
How do you win the comp?
Very good question. I could say we scored more points than the opposition.
Yes, but, very good answer.
Mate, look, Blackhawks are a real good football team. They're well coached. They got strike right across the park. They've got big middles, good outside backs. So, as I said, I'm not going to change too much. If we complete at a high rate, 82, 83%, we starve them of some possession, and we defend well, in particular in our cage D, I think we give ourselves a real good opportunity.
Mate, does the success that the Cup side have had, obviously the boys looking at that most weeks and feeding off that as soon as they play the early games, does that have some effect on them as well? Oh,
I think so, mate. The Cup boys have been great, along with Churchy and his staff. Like I often pull Churchy in and I ask him to have a look at our video or look at the video I'm cutting, and he's pretty switched on, Churchy. He's been a breath of fresh air, to be fair. They've done a really good job, and I wish them all the best this weekend. And guys like Riley Jacks and Vaha and them sort of guys, they're really good mentors, so it's been fantastic.
What's the last word you're going to give the Colts before they go out on the weekend, mate?
Good luck.
Short and sweet?
Yeah, look, luck shouldn't come into it, to be fair. I haven't even written down. I always write down. I've got a terrible memory, so I always write down what I'm going to say to them before games, and I don't give them too much. Pretty smart coach many years ago told me you give them 5 things and they remember the first 2. Yep. So I don't give them too much before games.
Any last words on the preparation you've been happy with this week?
No, we've been pretty good. It's a tough one, probably on a Wednesday night, because we usually do some oppose against Cup, or last week we did some against Green of 20s, and we sort of got our leftovers, and the leftover boys are ones that haven't, they're not playing at the moment, so they're sort of, they don't really want to be here, to be fair, but it wasn't too bad. I thought our shape was really good last night. I thought everything sort of flowed. It was a good session, and we got one to go on Friday night. You're
at full strength?
Pretty well, yeah. Bar a couple of blokes that, Paddy Holt, I'm not going to say Paddy would have been in our team. He may not have, but he got injured early and he's gone for the season. There's a couple other blokes that have gone for the season, but we've put our strongest side out there, and I'm pretty happy with the team that's going out there, to be fair.
Gliddo, you've done a really good job with them this year, mate. Obviously, the club's right behind you and supporting you in the quest for the ultimate Holy Grail. I'll be there as well, sort of cheering you on. So wish you all the best. And I know that doesn't mean anything. You just got to go out and execute, as you said earlier, and do the job.
That's it. Thanks, Payne.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, mate. I'm here with Colts lock forward Brock Ashton. Brock, welcome to the show, mate.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Buddy, we'll get into it in a bit more depth, but you must be excited to be in a grand final this weekend.
Yeah, so excited. Worked 3 years for this. Been with the Colts since 2021. So yeah, couldn't be more happier. Yeah.
I understand you've sort of progressively increased your game numbers during that time from 2021 up to now, as far as the number of games that you played.
Yeah. I had a couple games in my first year. Played about 2, and then similar last year. But yeah, kind of solidified my spot this year. Really happy about that.
What do you think the difference is? Is that just a bit of age and maturity?
Yeah, definitely maturity. I'd go back and play A grade at Carina, and I'll definitely learn a lot. We got pumped a lot of games, but I learned so much from that, and I came back and I think I brought a bit of maturity. Yeah.
They just sent you back to Carina. They didn't send you back to Bulimba, mate.
Nah. I don't know what the go was there. I think they wanted to keep the young boys.
Yeah, shame. Speaking of Bulimba, shame they lost the grand final last weekend. But
it is.
They've been a really successful club all year, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, done well with Mitchie.
Yeah, he has done well, Mitch. Mate, so going back to this weekend, grand final day, what's the preparation been like for you guys?
It's been the same as every other game, really. We don't really want to change anything. Obviously, it's a real big game, but I think if we take it how we normally do and just relax a bit more, chill out, don't really just want to think because it's a big game, we got to do more and run around more. But yeah, I think we've been taking it real calm this week. So
do your job, eh?
Yeah, do your job, exactly, like every other game.
Had Gliddon up here before. He's not a very superstitious sort of a guy. He doesn't have much to say to us before the game. How's he been during the week?
Oh, I think he had a few sprays in him last night, but he's been pretty good with us. Yeah, he knows that we've really worked really hard throughout the year, and we really deserve to be here. So he's been quite good with us.
Yeah. You're an East Junior, mate, I believe, so it must be satisfying to come through the ranks and get to this level, but obviously you'd like to take the next step as well? Yeah,
I would love to, yeah. Been here since 16s, I think I came, 16s or 15s, but yeah, it's kind of like a full circle moment, like last year Colts and finally making it to a GF, so hopefully we can get up and see what happens from there, yeah.
Look, it's a big game. Last weekend's game started a bit, how's your father?
Yeah.
For you guys, and you got behind a little bit and it looked a bit dicey there for a while, but then you basically took control.
Yeah, we did. We really took over in the middle. Our middle really was really good. After they scored a few tries on us, and I think once we won the middle and started winning some rocks, we really took over then and started to dominate, yeah.
Little fullback had a really good game.
Yeah, he plays the same every week. He's really good for us, yeah.
A bit fiery too, isn't he?
Westy, yeah. I think he got put on a report. I'm not sure.
Did he really?
I think he might have, yeah.
Well, hopefully he's been cleared with just a fine for these upcoming games.
Oh, they wouldn't want to suspend him, nah. Not for the big show.
Down at Redcliffe, obviously it's a neutral ground. You should have good support down there. Obviously, the folk that have been supporting you guys will be there. I'm hoping that, and the Tigers supporters get down there early and support the Colts as well. So you're looking forward to having that good support down at the club, the game?
Definitely. I know there'll be a few people there. I got a lot of family who's going to the game, so hoping there'll be a big crowd for us to cheer us on.
It's the last year of this competition, which is I find a little distressing, to be honest with you, as the under-21s, and they're changing the format and going back to 17s and 19s, and then goodness knows how or what happens with the 21s. I know Brayden Torpy's working pretty hard, the CEO of the club, to try and organise somewhere for the promising kids who are older than 19 go. Do you have any thoughts about what you might do next year?
Well, I heard there were talks of bringing in a cup reserve or something like that. Yeah. I think that would be really beneficial for us Colts boys who aren't quite ready for the cup level but need somewhere to go rather than A grade and stuff. Yeah. I think that would be really good for us. Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. There's certainly got to be a place for the kids who are older than 19 but not mature enough or not ready enough, as you mentioned, to go that next step and be playing at cup level. So hopefully that some sense happens and we can get some sort of competition in and around that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mate, any superstitions from you before the big game? What's your build up like on the day?
Try and just to get up early and definitely not sleep in. I'll be up at about 6:30 and just have brekkie and just kind of take it easy, not really think too much about the game, definitely. But just really take it easy, basically. Not really. not really much to it.
You're a middle forward, mate. The hard work starts with you guys, and then the backs hopefully can capitalise on that. So you'll have full support down there from all the Tigers supporters, me included. I wish you all the best going forward. Just go out, play your game, be natural, and get a win.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks,
Cheers.
mate. Cheers.
No worries.
Appreciate that.
All good.